Hello and welcome to the Anonymous Aficionado, where we casually analyze and appreciate art, music, and pop culture in the modern world. Now, today we're going to be talking about famous alternative TikTok influencer Carr and her cover of Cherry Bomb, compared to the original and other modern walk covers that I think are pretty neat. I thought an analysis on Carolyn Carr's cover would make an interesting video. In fact, her music is what gave me the inspiration to make this channel in the first place. I am a huge nerd for emo and punk music and love to talk about the complexities of these genres, especially modern covers of older songs. So I'm very excited to talk about this subject. I came across Carolyn on TikTok just a few days ago through a stitch of someone critiquing her teaser for her newest song, Cherry Bomb, a cover originally sung by the Runaways. Shortly after, my FYP became very saturated with mostly negative reviews of her covers, some of which calling her a poser. These comments got me curious and pushed me to give her version of Cherry Bomb a listen. Now, before I go any further, this video is not intended in any way to cause hate towards Carolyn and her music. Making music is a huge feat and takes a lot of time, patience, and training to make. There is no ill will towards her or her channel. This is just a casual discussion about her cover of Cherry Bomb. So with that, let's get into it. I'm not gonna go into full depth about Carolyn's career and the controversies that she's found herself in, but I do want to give you a quick background on who she is to provide some context. Carolyn is a TikTok influencer with around 10 million followers, and from what I can tell, she's most well known for her alternative style and makeup content. Carolyn started releasing music in 2021 with her single Let's Stick Up My Ex. Her Spotify bio states alt rocker Carolyn Carr delivers a unique blend of emo angst and dollish playfulness to the world of alternative music. The Texas-based singer-songwriter lyrically explores topics of objectification, manipulation, and regret with a powerful punk energy she brings with her to stage her live performances. In her nascent career, she's already shared the stage with alternative legends Pierce the Veil, The Used, and Death by Romy, who I'm not as bullet pointed with. It says that her first song cover of Cherry Bomb in the Runaways is out now, which is what we're analyzing. Carolyn has roughly around 52,000 monthly listeners, which is actually a bit more than I initially thought that she'd have, with the amount of people listening to her songs and the bands that she's performed with. This kind of made me wonder why all the backlash on Cherry Bomb Day. And my thought is the overproduction. The first version of Cherry Bomb was released in 1976 by the Runaways on their debut album, The Runaways. The song was written by Kim Fowley and Joan Jett, who is one of my favorite rock artists. If you grew up with rock and roll, you're probably very familiar with this song. What I love about the Runaways and Cherry Bomb is just how punk they are. I actually believe that the Runaways set the stage for punk, and here's why. They were one of the first all-female bands to really make an impression in rock and roll. In 1976, this was kind of a big deal. The production value of Cherry Bomb was rough and raw, much like it was recorded in a garage, giving you that intimate feeling that you were there with them. This band was made up of late teen, early 20s women who dressed rather provocatively at the time and were still learning how to play music, but had a message to flip the girl next door stereotype on its head and honestly describe the feminine experience in ways that just did not really exist yet. That's fucking punk. Their sound is also so different from other metal bands at the time. Lush, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, those bands I consider classic rock. But the Runaways will always be punk in my eyes. The lyrics of Cherry Bomb depict that of a girl who's a bit of a wild card and aims to be different from what is expected of her. I believe the pronunciation of Cherry Bomb is just what makes this fun so great. It's fun, it's metal as fuck, and it's for the girls. Remember earlier when I said that Joan Jett is one of my favorite rock singers? Her iteration of Cherry Bomb and the album Glorious Results of Misspent Youths, which is one of the most metal album titles I have ever heard, is why I'm such a fan of hers. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, they're most known for their songs Bad Reputation and I Love Rock and Roll. I also want to note that Joan Jett and the Blackhearts are also in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're a pretty big deal in the rock community. This version of Cherry Bomb is my favorite of the three that we're analyzing. Joan Jett has such a unique voice that pushes the envelope with how she enunciates and sings. The overall production value of the song is a bit higher than the Runaways, but the way that Joan sings makes me feel like I am with her. Like, hell yeah, girl, let's go break some windows and smoke some cigarettes. The version is a bit different than the original, introducing modern sounds to the song, making it a bit more theatrical. I think it was a bit of a risk for Joan Jett to release the song with her band, the same reason it was for Carolyn Carr. But the difference is Joan Jett executed this release beautifully, adding some differentiation between the original by the Runaways and her re-released iteration. Now, if the other two versions of Cherry Bomb were received so well, then why wasn't Carolyn Carr's? I gave it a listen, and by gave it a listen, I mean that I've had it on in the background, on loop, the entire time while working on the script for this video, and my impression wasn't a bad one. I don't think it's particularly a bad song, it just isn't much different than the 1976 version that the Runaways released, except for the production value. And this is right down to the album cover. On the left, you'll see the Runaways album, and on the right, you'll see Carolyn's album. They look similar, right? And this is right down to the typeface, except Carolyn's feels more like a mimicry. And I believe this to do the same with her sound, too. Blunt covers of older songs have become increasingly more popular lately, with Disturbed covering The Sound of Silence, originally released by Feynman and Garfunkel, one of my favorite metal covers ever. And this adds a modern heavy metal ballad sound to the song, making it unique to the original. Another great example of this is Sleep Token recording songs like Hey Ya, originally released by Outkast, and I Wanna Dance With Somebody by Whitney Houston. Sleep Token differentiates these songs from their original creators by adding a raw, emotional, and romantic sound. It's heartbreaking listening to these covers, and I recommend giving them a listen. The overproduction of Cherry Bomb proves to me that Carolyn had the budget to really do something different and reinvent the song in a way that makes sense in 2024. Her music is about her lived experiences and issues that exist for many women today. I would have loved to seen that somehow in her version of Cherry Bomb with her pop, almost bubblegum punk sound. The pronunciation of Cherry Bomb in the chorus feels forced and almost held back. I want to hear her give the song her all. Scream, yell, make me root for you, make me tear. Unlike the Runaways and Joan Jett, I feel far removed from Carolyn's version. I don't find any relatability to it. But now, despite all this, it's not a bad song. It just feels more like really good karaoke than its own song. I don't think Carolyn Kwan is a bad punk artist or a poser. I do think she's new to releasing music, however, and hasn't really found her sound putt yet, but her message is 100% there. I'm excited to see what she has in store and what the future of punk holds for her. Thanks for watching this video, and importantly, feel free to drop a like and subscribe to my channel if you are also a modern music nerd and love sinking your teeth into the complexities and nuances of music of art. I enjoyed making this video essay and talking about Carolyn Carr and Cherry Bomb, and I'm really excited to make more. Yeah, thanks again, and I'll see you later.